everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
And we got quite a show this week. A lot of drama on NASCAR Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Just got done at Martinsville with a hell of a race with the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. So, Tom, how was your weekend, buddy? How was watching some NASCAR at the Paperclip?
It was it was enjoyable for most of the weekend and whatnot. I was getting settled in. Obviously, I got a new background for our viewers. You don't. It looks a little different. I just moved to downtown Chicago. Turned 7 of the racetracks right over there. So last week I missed it because I missed the show because I was getting settled in and I got my setup all done and I'm ready to go. And it was the racing. As for the racing, it was interesting, for sure interesting.
Yeah, definitely interesting. But before we dig into all that, let's talk our diecast of the week. Tom, what you got for us, buddy?
All right. I found this at a flea market in Oklahoma City a couple of years ago. I think I paid like $20 for this one and a Jimmy Johnson race win diecast, but thought I'd pull this one out again. It's the Hendrick 20-year anniversary. They ran all these special ones at Martinsville for the 20th year anniversary. They did these silver ones. Obviously, we got the ruby red this year for the ruby anniversary, but I thought this was fitting and it extra fitting that the 24 car ended up in victory lane today. But I thought this was a really cool piece. I think my favorite part is this the one that has, yeah, this one still has stickers on the actual tires.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's one of those. But yeah, I think it's a real cool, nice piece.
Yeah, man. Classic Jeff Gordon diecast. All right, for my diecast of the week, yeah. Hendrick Motorsports went 1-2-3 this weekend in their Ruby Red anniversary for their 40th. So I had to pull out William Byron's rookie Cup Series car with the flames on the Exalta, man. This is when the Hendrick Motorsports had amazing paint schemes. They knocked it out of the park with this, doing a throwback to Jeff Gordon's flames. Got the rookie stripes on the back for 2018, and
Mm.
yeah, look how far that this young man has come, man. He is just racking off wins
The
almost
the
every
winningest
year.
driver in the next gen era.
Yep.
He is turning into the Kyle Busch of the Gen 7.
Yeah,
So
that's amazing to see. You know, he had a really
yeah.
slow start to his career, but now he's just kicking ass week in and
And
week out.
he's whatever he's figured out with this next gen car, it fits well with him. And it's not at any particular track. He'll win at an intermediate. He'll win at a short track. He'll win on a road course. Like, and again, he won Daytona. He won the super speedway. So, um, it's clicking over there right now for him. I will
Yeah.
say, of the 4 ruby red paint schemes for Hendrick, his was the worst. They kind of forced
Really?
those flames on there. In my opinion,
Okay.
those
I
flames
really
looked a little
thought,
bit like I see what they were trying to go for, get the throwback to the flames of Jeff Gordon days and the diecast you shared there, but I thought it was a little bit kind of just like slapped on like a sticker.
yeah. See, I liked Byron's and Bowman's, but
Hmm.
Elliott's looked bad because they were still trying to include like that universe green around the 9.
Yeah,
And same thing with Larson's car. They included like that blue from the Hendrick, and it did not work with that ruby red. But man,
I
I don't know. I
it's
love that
it's
24.
cool to have the whole like them as a unit all doing the
Hmm.
same thing and doing a themed unit. I wish more teams did that
Yeah.
more often. I understand that their sponsorships want it, but for them to have all the same race suits with all the different spots, it's just really well done and cool for Hendrick Motorsports to have a ton of their employees there with them to celebrate as well. It's just everybody's calling this the Hendrick 400 at Hendrick Motor Speedway, so
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
you know.
pretty much. If you want to put your tinfoil hats on, this was the perfect one to do it, man. All right, guys, so let's get into some of our top stories from this past weekend. I think the biggest one everyone saw when they logged on to Twitter Friday morning was the beef between Denny Hamlin and Marcus
Woof.
Smith. Someone on Twitter shared that part of the track came up at Sonoma Raceway after the new repave that they had going on over there, and Denny Hamlin just made a jab right to Marcus Smith and the whole motorsports team. So yeah, and then Marcus Smith didn't take kindly to it.
No, it was weird to see two very important people in the sport, one on the track side, one on the driver slash owner side, go at it like that with just very personal attacks and uncalled for. Um, and it was so odd in the moment. And like when I woke up Friday morning, I was like, that's really weird that Denny's this upset about Sonoma. But it wasn't just about Sonoma. It was
Nope.
about, if I may, it was about how Speedway Motorsports is working as a business in the NASCAR business. Denny, which we've had a few days to kind of debrief and let this simmer a little bit, but Denny's basically saying Speedway Motorsports is to blame for all these weird track reconfigurations. Um, yeah, they gave us the Roval and we wanted more road courses, but it's kind of run its course. And then they brought back North Wilkes-Barre, but that was COVID money from the state of North Carolina. Um, and then you see stuff like this with the Atlanta repave. They didn't really and reconfiguration. They didn't talk to the drivers about it. They just kind of did it and said, "Well, here you go. You find out with the media." And when NASCAR revamps tracks, they turn the money around and invest it in the tracks and into the sport. And Denny's basically accusing Marcus Smith of just pocketing all this money. Now, where we come to this further aspect of it is that we have the deal with the charters not coming through. And Jordan Bianchi and Jeff Gluck with The Athletic basically reported that SMI is the one that's kind of holding all of this up because NASCAR agrees that the teams should get more money. Obviously, the teams want more money, and that's got to come from somewhere. It's not, you can't have more than 100% of the pot. And so it's going to come from the tracks. But SMI is saying, well, we don't want to give up our cut. That's a good cut. So Denny's so frustrated because he knows that these charter agreements are getting held up. And he's also knows how much he's investing as a team and as a driver. And he knows that SMI is just taking all that money and pocketing it. So it's so much deeper than just Sonoma Raceway. And it all just kind of seemed to boil over in one of those, late night toilet texts. Like there were definitely regrets in the morning, but
Yeah.
it's very interesting to look at where all this is coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I was totally on Denny's side for this one. I mean, he wasn't wrong. I mean, Speedway Motorsports, they have had a really bad rep of ruining racetracks. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
saw what they did with Texas Motor Speedway. I think Texas Motor Speedway, they used to be one of my favorite tracks to watch as a kid. It was so much fun. And then they reconfigured it and they just completely ruined it. And then you said the same thing about Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't talk to anybody about that. And so they have a really bad track record of just screwing over the NASCAR drivers, not having them have an input, and just ruining really, really good tracks. So I'm Team Denny on this one.
Right. And where's that money go? Where's that
Yeah,
money go? Like obviously they're not putting in the good work. You see that with the pictures at Sonoma. What they did, they grind down a little bit and just lay new asphalt on it. When NASCAR repaves the track, they dig it back down to the foundation and basically start over.
yep,
So, and something in that sealer wasn't working right and the track came up and it ruined a day of racing or a day of practice for whoever was out there. And so it's like if you're hoarding all this money and you're not going to reinvest it into the sport, why should you then get more of a pot and
mm-hmm,
more and keep more of the pot when the drivers are truly the stars and the teams are what makes I'm not going to the NASCAR races to see NASCAR. I'm going to see teams race each other. Like I'm not going to go there and be like, "Oh, this is cool. This is an SMI owned track. This is really awesome. I'm here for the track." No. No, I'm here for the product on the track there's this disconnect with what SMI is investing back into the sport.
yeah. It's just really, really disappointing to see what Marcus Smith is doing to the sport, and I don't know. I hope someone opens their. I hope this somehow opens his eyes, but it won't. The greed is just too much right now.
Well, yeah, and who suffers? It's us, the
Yeah.
fans. You and I we're just racing fans, and we tune in every week because we like the product and we want to see it. But there's all this infighting and things can't progress and whatnot. We are going to start suffering, and the product is going to get worse and worse and worse, and nobody's going to want to do anything to fix it. And I know this is a slippery slope thing, but one of these days it's going to go away. People are going to give up, where you're going to see some kind of split like we saw with IndyCar and kart, or the teams are just gonna be like, well, we can't work with SMI, or NASCAR doesn't want to work with SMI, and then that opens up a whole other. But it's like, yeah, it's a slippery slope. But like this, without this charter deal and with this infighting here between the teams and the tracks and NASCAR, it's not helping the product at all, for sure. We're definitely not in a place of growth right now when we really are set up to bring in new fans, and nobody seems to want to ride this wave.
Yeah, it's just really disappointing to see. All right.
Can you hear
Um,
that train?
no,
Okay, good. I was so
no, I
concerned.
can't.
The L, the green and the orange line is like right outside my living room window.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't hear it at all.
we're on the same level. We're on the third floor of our building, and that's level with the tracks.
Oh man.
So so yeah, I was a little concerned with how the sound would all go, but
Hey, at least you're right there next to the train.
right? No, again, I can walk to the racetrack in the summer. I'm so excited.
Dude, that's so
It's gonna be
sweet.
so good.
Was there any other top stories you wanted to mention? What was
No,
it?
we'll talk about the state of short tracks
Yeah.
after we get into racing. So
Okay.
great.
Alrighty. Three, two, one. All right, so let's get into our Martinsville race review. We started off the weekend with the truck series. That was just the race of mayhem, I gotta say, just nonstop wrecking. I mean, what do you expect from the truck series at a short track?
I, I expected exactly that, and at least they can get to each other to make stuff like that happen.
Yeah, right.
So so it's a little
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
Ty Majeski led the field to green. Christian Eckes won stages one and two. This kid's just been doing great in that 19 truck.
Yeah.
Definitely a great start to the season.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, if he's shown us exactly the same thing that Corey Heim was last season. And nobody's really seeming to step up to stop him.
Exactly. Dean Thompson got sent into the wall after a bad bump and run for him.
Oof.
Another guy, he's been having a pretty good run this year. Been collecting some top tens, but yeah, definitely something that he did not want to see. To kind of kill
That
his
was a
stride there.
violent wreck too. Just the way the tire got cut down so fast. They didn't even mention this on the broadcast, by the way. They were just like, "Wow, he just turned into the wall." And like nobody said like, "Oh, that contact right before cut his tire down. He had no chance." There's just a little bit of a fumble there by the fantastic Fox truck crew.
Yeah, pretty typical.
But yeah, no,
Yep.
that was a hard hit for Dean Thompson.
Yeah,
And
glad he's all right. And
he's in
he was making fun of WWE this weekend too, so so he was having fun.
yeah, yeah, and he's in this lower level equipment, but I feel like he's outperforming his equipment week in and week out, and so it's just one of those things where it's really unfortunate to see.
Oh, no doubt. All right, so the Wreck Fest began, just caution after caution after caution, but this led to a Christian Eckes victory. Like we just said about a minute ago, this kid is on top of the world right now in the truck series. Really looking like one of the favorites right now.
Yeah, yeah, and he's doing what he needs to do to garner the attention of other teams and people that'll want him to race for them shortly in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, this kid will get an Xfinity Series ride sometime soon because he's been down there in the Truck Series for quite some time now. He had like a year or two where he was with Kyle Busch Motorsports, didn't really perform all that well down there, and now he's just been kicking
Well,
ass
it's
with that 19
but
team.
he's developing, and that's kind of
Yeah,
what this truck series and the Xfinity series is for. It's honing in the craft. So and garnering this attention, I think his growth rate has been good. Like it's very easy to say like, oh, you're Tyler Ankram's, your Christian Eckes's, who else is in here? I don't know, your Ben Rhodes have been in the truck series forever, but they're developing.
yep,
They're and if an opportunity comes and the stars align, then it's meant to be for him. So it's good.
yeah,
At least he's going in the positive direction, not the negative.
yeah. Very, very true. Capping off wins. So congrats to Christian Eckes, Martinsville winner. Now let's get into the Xfinity Series. We had Cole Custer on the pole, and Sammy Smith, we had him aggressively going three wide into turn one, just sent it right in there and spun out the 92 of Dexter Dean. Sammy Smith, he's getting pretty reckless. I mean, I don't blame him. This guy's had a season from hell, and he needs all the positions he can get to rack up some points because he is in a deep, deep hole right now.
Well, yeah, for sure. And you say deep hole, he's sitting in ninth. Um, Looks like
That's
he's the second best junior motorsports car. So that
That's
shows you where that whole
surprising. He's
team is.
only ninth. I haven't really looked at the
Right.
standings, and he's
Yeah.
had a horrible year. But hey,
Yeah, I mean, they're finishing races. What was the interesting dynamic about the beginning of this race was obviously all the good drivers, good cars sent to the back, and we saw two different ways of getting up to the front. Sammy Smith caused a caution, being too aggressive, as some other guys were saving their stuff so they could stay out on a pit cycle. And all, what was it? All five junior motorsports drivers which I believe most of them started on the back. All five of them took a green flag at one point. One, two, three, four, five.
Yeah.
So just that was the interesting dynamic there at the beginning of this race that kept me intrigued was how these guys with good equipment get through the riffraff. Because I mean, you can pass in this series on this track. You can get
Yeah.
around, you can move around, you can find an edge, but you got to work on saving your stuff. And so that was a really good storyline to follow.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And week in and week out, I don't know, Xfinity Series just puts on some of the best
Hmm.
racing that we see, especially with the short track product, man. They just got it down, and I just don't understand how Cup just cannot follow that. And like, how can your minor league series outperform the top series of your league? I do not
Yeah,
understand.
I can kind of see why it's happening. They missed the mark to start with this new platform in the Cup Series,
Hmm.
obviously. And it was fun for a while. And we're like, oh, okay, well, it'll get better. And now it's the time where we're getting antsy for it to not get better or for that it's not getting better. The Xfinity platform has been running this car or a variation of this car for like 15 years.
Yeah,
And they better not change it because it's really good and it
yeah,
races well. So that I think we have to take a step back and be like, well, why is Xfinity so good? They found something that works and they're sticking with it.
hmm
And as hard as it is to do, especially with NASCAR and how knee jerk reactions sometimes they take minor events, um, you got to give them a chance. And I know it's every time we go to a short track and finish short track and be like, oh, it was so terrible. It's gets harder and harder to give NASCAR a chance to fix this short track package for the Cup Series, but you got to give them a chance, and they gotta go way outside their comfort zone for what we need. Goodyear to work on this. We need the engine builders to work on this. We need lots of people to make the Cup Series work. But because you do have another reason that the Xfinity Series is so entertaining to watch is you have some veterans in there. Your Justin Allgaiers, your Parker Kligermans, your AJ Allmendingers. You have those guys in there. They know racecraft and whatnot, but they are in there with a bunch of kids like Sammy Smith who are still learning how to get through the field. And that's really important too, because you have different skill sets. Everybody in the Cup Series is at the top of their game, and now they're all driving the same car and driving the same lap times and the same tire fall off. There's nothing different about the Cup cars, and there's no advantage there. Versus the age and experience in the Xfinity Series is all over the board, and so
hmm
therefore you can get that much better product there too,
Yeah, makes sense. Sometimes maybe too much parity is a bad thing.
which is what we're coming to find with our Cup Series
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, I saw the speed times for the Cup Series race, and they were like kind of all exactly the same, and
Yeah,
they were just like, maybe this
yeah.
whole parity thing isn't that great.
Well, and Denny Hamlin was saying on Actions Detrimentally because the parity thing is done. It's
Yeah.
over because the top teams with the best money and the best equipment have figured out this car, and you're going to see the same nine guys win a race.
hmm
It's done. They figured it out. It's all about track position. It's all about the crew chiefs. It's not in the driver's hands anymore. Yeah, it was fun the first year to be like, oh wow, cool. Uh, Michael McDowell can win a road course race just outright. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's done. That's over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
You're gonna
shame.
get Gibbs, Hendrick, and then a couple other teams sprinkled in there. Here and there
Yeah.
are going to get wins from here on out.
And Ford still can't show out this year.
No, no, but they will in the playoffs.
Yeah, we shall see if they can get that dark horse running. Alrighty. So going back into the Xfinity series, Haley Deegan, another one who's just had a really rough year in that 15 car, gets spun and wrecks after Brandon Poole got to her rear, tore up her entire front end. Just unfortunate to see for the girl because
Yeah,
I know she's been trying real hard for the past few years to try and make a name for herself, and her whole highlight reel is just her getting into the wall.
for sure. And sometimes it's her fault,
Hmm.
but a lot of the times it's not. And like I know I she gets a lot of hate and a lot of flack because oh she's a social media star. Oh she's another money child, big money kid. Like I still don't wish ill will. Like she hasn't done
No.
anything to rub me the wrong way in the sense of like she's dislikable. Like you want to see her run well and you want to see her grow and learn and get better equipment and see what could happen. But it's been yeah, there's 2 weeks in a row running with subpar equipment, kind of getting run over, getting the front end ripped off. I mean, at the end of the Richmond race, her car just stopped working, which it sucks. It ruins her
Yeah.
day, and those opportunities aren't going to last long if she can't get good results. She's not going to get good results if she keeps staying in bad equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, so Eric Almirola, he held off Sheldon Creed to win stage one, and we had a big wreck on the restart. Brandon Jones missing his shift, and the whole field stacks up behind him, causes the big one at Martinsville with Corey Heim, Retzloff, Austin Hill, AJ Allmendinger, and others all involved,
Took
ending
out a
their
lot of
days early.
contenders.
Man, oh man, Brandon Jones just keeps surprising us with his talents.
The I'll say two things. You say earlier, oh, this series produces the best racing,
Then we
but
get
then
shit
it
like
also
this.
produces this.
Yeah.
So there's that. The second thing, hilarious that Brandon Jones causes all this chaos, but it happens behind him. So he just gets to keep racing like his rear bumper is probably a little folded in.
Yeah.
And that's it took out a lot of contenders. I just said it, but like holy cow, what a mess.
Yeah.
What a mess.
No
Oh my
regrets
goodness.
from him, man. That's
And
for
as
sure.
soon as that first car went in there, it exploded the front end. I think it was the 21.
Yeah, it was Austin
It
Hill.
exploded the front end. And so even if you're all the way in the back, you're anticipating the green flag, you hit the gas, and by the time you're like, whoa, 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 slow up, they're all driving in fluid.
Yeah.
There's no stopping it once it started. It was a comedy of errors all through. I mean, not even comedy of errors. It was one error that caused calamity.
Pure chaos.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
And Brandon Jones is just like, oops,
Yep. I'm gonna keep on going.
just go over here.
Yep. Hey, it helped him, man. It took out some of the competition.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So Parker Kligerman, man, he gets a flat. It just sucks to see. We know that this guy can definitely contend for a
Yeah.
playoff spot, and so far, yeah,
Hmm.
another guy who has not been having a great
No.
year, and he really should be because he is a fantastic
Yeah.
driver, and that car is just really, really good.
But he's comfortable points wise right now. He's according to NASCAR.com right here, he's seventh in points.
Wow, good
So
for him.
yeah, I mean he's a driver that'll get more out of the equipment than he can.
Yeah,
You just hate to see it because Martinsville is one of those tracks, like a road course race for Parker or a super speedway. Martinsville is one of those tracks where these teams with less equipment can put more on the driver and the driver can get more done, get more with less. And so for him to get caught up with a mechanical issue and then just be trying to catch up from behind for the rest of it, it's disappointing.
yeah,
And you know it's disappointing for them.
but it's great to see when Parker isn't having issues like that.
Mhm.
He is pulling up front. He is
Yeah,
having fantastic races and great finishes. So, man,
it's a top 15 car every week that he's knocking on the door as a top five sometimes, which is really
yeah,
good.
absolutely, man. All right, so Justin Allgaier wins stage two. That's good to see for Junior Motorsports. They're a team that has not had good
Mhm.
things going for them this year. And Sheldon Creed, we know this guy. I think he's tied for the most consecutive, or not the most consecutive, for the most second place finishes without getting a win. With I think he's tied with like Dale Jarrett and Daniel Hemrick right now, without getting his win. He tried to do all he could to make his way up to the front, going three wide on that final restart there.
I think that
Um,
move won the race for Eric Almirola.
oh yeah, because it took
Because
Sammy
it
Smith out of
yeah,
contention,
it got everybody all squirrely and Eric was able to drive away and not really
or
get he
Sam
didn't have
Mayer.
yeah. Yeah, Sam Mayer. But like it took them out of the picture so he could just focus on turning his good laps for 2 laps and whatnot. But yeah, Sheldon Creed, I mean, second year in a row, you could argue he's better equipment than he was last year, and it's still not something's still not quite clicking. I know it's early with a new team, so maybe we have to keep that in the back of our minds, and talk to us about Sheldon Creed after the next Martinsville race for the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that with Cole Custer last year. He had a horrible start to
Hmm.
his Xfinity Series return, and look what happened. He ended up winning the
Yeah.
championship. So yeah, we'll see how Creed grows with this 18 team here.
Hmm.
All right, yeah. So congrats to Eric Almirola getting his first win with Joe Gibbs Racing in his stint this year. Uh, Pretty cool to see because when he won the race, he's like, man, there's always been an asterisk next to my
Yeah,
name.
exactly.
When they
Because
pulled
Denny
him
won
to
that
put Denny
race.
in that car, yeah. So finally, he was able to get that
Hmm.
win for Joe Gibbs Racing, the Xfinity Series. He made it legit, and yeah, pretty damn
Yeah,
cool to see for a guy who retired full time and he came down here just to win some races, and that's what he did.
he just seemed happy, you know.
Yep.
I'm sure being so close and running mid pack in the Cup Series for as long as he did, occasionally sneaking a win here and there, I'm sure that messes with your brain a little bit, thinking you can't do it. So when you come back in and you win Sonoma last year with the Xfinity Series and a really not a great car,
Yeah.
and then you come here and you can help develop young drivers and race occasionally and have time with your family and go get a win. He just looked happy. He looked good. Um, I'm glad he's on Team Toyota right now for our sake. He's going to help make our teams, because again, he's still stuck around in the Cup Series for that long because again, all those guys are really good. Even the ones we bitch and moan about being bad, all those
Mhm.
Cup guys are really good. So to have him as an asset to help develop these drivers and coach them and help the Xfinity program get better, it's only going to help Joe Gibbs Racing continue to
Yeah.
grow.
They just have a powerhouse of an Xfinity Series team this year with all these different drivers coming through with the 20 and the 19. Yeah, they're going
Hmm.
to be a force to be reckoned with this year.
Hmm.
All right, bud. So let's move over to Sunday.
Okay.
Man,
Do we
this
have
was
to?
just, yeah, this was just really disappointing to see because they said we were going to be getting the same tire that we had from Bristol. But man, it did not put on the same product that we saw at Bristol. I really think, well,
What's
we needed the resin on the track.
what's frustrating about these comments about comparing all these short tracks now to the that Bristol race that was so fantastic. Nobody knows how it happened, that
Yeah.
Bristol race. They don't know. So even if they wanted to repeat it, do they even know where to start? No, there was a perfect storm of the resin and I think the track temperature being a bit lower that created that scenario. And even then, you look back in that, it was kind of ugly. The tires didn't wear, tires didn't wear, tires didn't wear, and then they just died,
Hmm.
which still wasn't great. So there was saving, but it was like a light switch, like Kevin Harvick was saying that whole broad. So like it was cool to see because it was different and unexpected, and it was generally good once NASCAR figured out that, oh yeah, these guys are really struggling, but we can't throw a caution for this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So that was good about the Bristol race. The thing is, we can't repeat it if we don't know how to. And it seems like they don't know how to. Or that's the conditions like the weather that
Yeah.
are you can't obviously can't control. So you you got to do something more drastic. Get narrower tires, eliminate the shifting,
Add
get smaller brakes,
horsepower.
get more horsepower. More horsepower will wear these tires out. But
Yeah,
Goodyear
for real.
needs to make a tire that wears.
Hmm.
And we're gonna. I assume we're just gonna kind of gloss over this race because there was one interesting moment, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you feel the same, but like when Joey Logano runs both the first and second stage on one set of left sides, that's unacceptable.
Shouldn't be
It's
happening.
awful. It's
That should only
awful.
happen at super speedways, man. Like,
When Austin Dillon, who's in last in a shit box, can't be passed by the leaders because they literally can't get up to him, that's awful.
yeah,
It's terrible. And it's just they show up at Martinsville and they turn on the conveyor belt. Maybe they should repave Martinsville with a bunch of conveyor belts. I don't know. Just flick the switch. Like, look, the cars are going around. They're really close together. Because that's all you get.
yeah.
The one interesting point was that final green flag pit cycle when Byron comes in a lap early and Denny thinks they can stay out and get some more life out of the tires, and then they're all racing, and then they settle in and drive in a line. Again, John Hunter Nemechek's tire exploding or brake rotor exploding to give us an overtime finish. Even then,
Saved
you're
it.
like, well, did it save it? Because even
But I
then,
mean, it still won.
right? Like you knew at that point that nobody was going to pit. I'm so surprised Denny even pitted.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Joey Logano showed that you could go 180 laps on a set of tires and it didn't matter. His
Yeah.
tires looked like shit at the end, but he was still running there and still in keeping position because nobody could get up to each other and hold each other down. It's
Shouldn't be
just,
happening.
it's just
It's
mind-boggling.
yeah, it really is. I'm just glad I was at the last good Martinsville race,
Was that
2021 when
when
Bowman
Denny,
won.
Denny,
Yep.
you were there? That's dope.
Yeah, me and Nick were there, and
That's
yeah,
wild.
he was full on Team Denny at that point, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was a fun time.
And like, here we are. We bemoaned Texas at the beginning, talking in the news about the SMI thing. And here we are leaving 2 weeks after Richmond, a week after Martinsville. And we're like, oh yeah, here we go. We're going to Texas. Let's go. We're gonna see something good. Who who are we? What is happening?
Right?
Like, what is that? I'm actually gonna be in the stands Sunday at Texas. Just happen to be down in that area of the country. And some friends were like, hey, we're gonna go check out this race. You want to come? And I was like, do I? Do you know who you're talking to? I'm
Yeah.
so excited. So I'll let you know how it is in person. But
Yeah. Hopefully they put on a
like,
good product.
yeah, like the fact that we're even like, oh cool, Texas is coming.
Yeah.
When NASCAR short track racing was so good, and like you saw people do what they had to do. You saw people get up there, the bump and run. You can't even bump and run anymore. These cars stick to the ground. Even if you can get up to bump somebody, they'll just downshift and drive off faster than you anyway.
Yep.
So there's
That's
so
another
many
thing
things.
that just ruins it is the
Hmm.
downshifting. I really do think that changing the car to 5 gears kind of ruined the short track racing.
Well, and this car was innovative for
Hmm.
sure, and it was awesome. It's a great car. It helped the intermediate program. It's helped the dirty air program kind of, but that's only if you have multiple lanes to drive it.
Yeah.
These short tracks, these road courses, you have one driving line, and it's just been not great. And like the joy of these cars were that the brakes were small and you have these tight corners at these short tracks and road courses. They're hard to drive. If you make a mistake, you pay for it. The brakes are too big, the tires are too big. It's too much grip. There's no penalties anymore. And again, we've heard Denny say it for months now, and we've heard Dale Jr. say it for months now. When all these drivers are at the top of their game, all 38 drivers are at the top of their game, and all the cars are the same, and there's no tire wear. There are simply no more variables to change. And that's when we get these track position BS races where somebody will stay out on tires because the penalty won't be so bad as long as they can stay in front. And it's so hard to pass.
Right.
And it's frustrating to watch. You sit there and you just watch them go around and around, and it looks cool. They are getting close. So you realize, oh, nobody's changing positions.
Yeah. Real shame to see, man. But let's get right into the race. Kyle Larson won the pole, and he won it over 1/1000th of a second over Bubba Wallace, man. That was real close.
Bubba looked good all day.
He's
He
been
stayed up
looking
there at the
great
front.
all
After all
year.
those after all those things that we say you can't pass one on, Bubba stayed at the front. You
Yeah.
still got to be able to execute, I guess. I guess that's the silver lining here.
Yep.
But it's good to see that Bubba's fast
He's
and
doing well
keeping
on
it
the
up at the
short
front.
tracks now, man. That
Hmm.
used to be his bane, that and road courses, but
Right.
hey, he is picking it up.
He won a
Uh,
Martinsville race with Kyle Busch Motorsports years and years ago, but
yeah, very
um
true.
yeah.
All right, so Larson won stage one, his fourth of the season. This guy's on a freaking roll right now, of
Hmm.
course. And then poor Christopher Bell had a tire rod break on him. They had to do an extensive fix up on that one, and he just multiple laps down.
Yeah.
Just hate to see it for this guy. He's one of those guys. He can go out and win this race.
Hmm.
Fantastic
We've seen
driver.
him go out and win this race.
Yeah, exactly. And just poor bad luck, mechanical failure. It always gets the best of him, man. I feel like that's the guy who's just been just poisoned
The
by
team is
these
an
mechanical
enigma.
failures. Yeah, for real.
The
The
team
20
is in it
team.
because they'll come out and they'll dominate, and then they'll have a weird stretch where nothing works, everything breaks, and they're running in the back. They can't figure out how to find speed, and it's high or low for them. And it's not
Hmm.
even it's checkers or wreckers for them. It's just whether they're running well or they're running like garbage.
Yep. All right, so Denny Hamlin won stage two and 90 to go. William Byron took the lead from Chase Elliott, sailed away until John Hunter Nemechek blew his tire with three to go. Same scenario that we had last week at Richmond. But William Byron, he had a great restart and he was able to win it in overtime. Hendrick Motorsports got a 1-2-3 finish for their Ruby anniversary. I mean, you can't script it any better than that, man.
No, there's no conspiracy, people. Sometimes things just work out well. Get over yourselves.
Right.
Let the Hend if you are saying like, "Oh, it's the Hendrick. I hate Hendrick," and they focus so much on Hendrick, like, come on, man. It's they are the winningest team in Cup Series history. Their 40th anniversary is a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, let them have their day. Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Again,
They,
to
they've
me,
had some of the most popular drivers run for them: Jimmy Johnson,
mhm,
Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Chase Elliott. I mean,
yeah,
they got to be
like
recognized like that, man.
exactly, exactly. It was a special day, and they deserve to have the focus. So just get over yourself.
Yep.
Just because you chose not to cheer for Hendrick, don't go start bemoaning the whole sport for like that. They'll be fine. We'll be over it again, and William Byron will win at Texas, and you'll hear about it all over again. And
Yep.
uh, but like all the people complain about it is only talk about Hendrick all day. It's like, yeah, because it was a special day for them,
Yep.
and you'll be okay. You'll survive.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a big Hendrick guy. I would say I'm one of the Hendrick haters, except Willie B. He's pretty cool. But you know what? I applauded them getting that one, two,
But
three
yeah,
finish in
again,
that
you
race.
can
It's absolutely incredible.
a lot of this animosity and stuff comes from people liking other drivers, and Hendrick is in the way of their favorite drivers winning.
Yep.
Why do you think that I didn't like Penske so much? Because I grew up a Kyle Busch fan, and it seemed like it was Kyle Busch versus Roger Penske's team. Growing up, it's just like, well, if Kyle didn't win, it was because Joey Logano or Brad Keselowski got in his way or did this to him,
Right.
this, that, and the other. So like you you dislike the people that you also have to respect the most. And Hendrick is just one of those teams. If you don't like them, it's because you know that they're a threat to win. And if they're out there, your favorite driver has less of a chance of winning.
Yep.
Sorry.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
that's how it was. Jimmy Johnson when I was growing up, man. I
exactly.
hated him.
But
I
that's the fun
absolutely
of
hated Jimmy
also the fun of
Johnson.
sports. You want to have people to hate. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks when you don't like somebody and they spend the whole broadcast talking about them. But again, they are still so important to the sport. And like, yeah, I'm kind of indifferent about them. Like, none of their drivers really speak to me personality wise. I think they're as exciting as a wet blanket as a foursome. But like, the team is really impressive, and what they've built for the sport is really impressive, and you have to respect that. And that's why I got a Jeff Gordon diecast sitting right here and a Jimmy Johnson win diecast. I don't even know what race that's from, but he won it. Like, you got to understand that this team is really good, and they've been really good for the sport.
Yep. They are one of the powerhouses that runs NASCAR. I think without Hendrick Motorsports, I don't think NASCAR would be where it is today.
Yeah, yeah, that you could definitely make that argument and whatnot.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, I think that'll about wrap it up for our Martinsville review show. Congrats to William Byron, Eric Almirola, Christian Eckes. Got anything else to add, buddy?
Let's hope that somebody comes up with a feasible solution to fix this short track
Yeah.
product in the Cup Series. Don't touch the trucks, don't touch Xfinity, but the Cup Series needs help. And there's a lot of people that know a lot more than me that'll have a lot better ideas of how to do that. And let's be honest, it's probably not going to happen anytime this year, but hope they need to start working on it now so it can be ready for next season.
Yep. We can only hope, Tom. Well, guys, that will do it for us here at the Stock Car Spectacle. Thanks for tuning into our Martinsville review. Also, make sure to check into our Texas preview that we will have up in about a day or two. And make sure to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and our merchandise website as well. All the links will be down below. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Tom Hoblet.
And we'll see you guys next time. Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Tom Hoblet.
And we got our Texas Motor Speedway preview show right here for you. And Tom, you're heading down to the Lone Star State to see some racing. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I hope it's warmer than the last time I went there. I went in 2019 for the spring race, and it was like 40 degrees. And they built that racetrack. Very smart. They built that racetrack with the backs to the sun, so when you're in the heat of the summer, it doesn't bake you and cook you alive. But that's not very fun in 40-degree weather. So I hope it'll be warmer. I'm excited. I'm going with a quick story here. Going with a group of friends from Oklahoma who watched the Netflix series over the summer or over the off season, and they thought it would be fun to go check out a race in person. So firsthand account that the Netflix series is working to bring in new fans and keep them interested past Daytona and Atlanta.
Yeah, pretty damn cool, man. Since they're in Oklahoma, you got to tell them to go check out the Chili Bowl sometime, see some dirt racing.
For sure. Hopefully I can convert them to become some Christopher Bell fans.
Yeah, who knows?
Norman's own, Norman, Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner right there.
Love it. All right, man. So let's get into our Texas preview. We start off the weekend with the Truck Series on Friday night. We got the SpeedyCash.com 250 miles, 167 laps. Most manufacturer wins here at Texas is Toyota with a whopping 12 wins here. They are pretty damn good. Notables in here, Kyle Busch is stepping back into that 7 truck for Spire Motorsports, so you can probably pencil him in for that win, unless something happens to him.
Hope so.
And Zane Smith will be in that 91 for MHR. Last year's winner was Carson Hocevar for Nice Motorsports, so they might be another team to look out for this weekend. So, Tom, who you got going to Victory Lane, Texas on Friday night?
Well, he's run here so well. I believe he was this close last season to get his first win here. That's right. I'm not picking Rowdy, although I think it's the smart decision. I'm coming to the realization as a Kyle Busch fan, this is kind of an aside. I'm coming to the realization as a Kyle Busch fan that we are definitely on the back end of his career, and it makes me sad. He's just not a threat to win every week like he had been, and it's really sad. And with this not being his own equipment and the stakes are lower, he's kind of there to just help him iron out some kinks and wrinkles in it. I don't think it's a guarantee if he shows up in a truck race and wins. I mean, he won in Atlanta, but that's a super speedway and he just knew how to block better. So all that being said, I'm going to go with a Spire truck or a Spire prepared truck, the number 2 of Nick Sanchez. He's hungry. He runs well at the intermediate tracks, and I think he can pull it off. Like I said, he almost got his first career win there last year. He's real close, and I think he could do it again.
Very
true, learn
man.
from his mistakes and be better this time.
Not bad at all. Well, man, with all that to be said, I'm still going with Kyle Busch. I mean, it's fucking Kyle Busch.
It's Kyle Busch.
Yeah, the guy is so good. I don't think it matters what truck he's going to step into. He's going to work his nuts off, and he's going to move that truck up to the front. And Yeah, Rowdy is gonna go to victory lane again, and Tom, show the sign, buddy.
Oh, yeah, it's up here. I have my Kyle Busch shrine set up over here. I'm just getting moved in, but there's my Kyle portrait. But there we go. We will attempt to race, win, and bow. So then we can start to repeat again,
There you go.
which we would be if he did it, we would be at the repeat section because I said he won the Atlanta race. So it would be about time to repeat.
There you go, buddy. Alrighty, so good luck to the drivers on Friday night. Hopefully, you do not wreck out in this
Mm.
one, unlike Martinsville. All right, so let's go Saturday with the Andes Frozen Custard 300 for the Xfinity Series. 300 miles, 200 laps. Stages 1 and 2 will be 65 laps each, and the final will be 70 laps. Most team wins here is Joe Gibbs Racing with 8 wins, and Toyota, they got 8 wins as well with those wins with Joe Gibbs Racing. Last year's winner was John Hunter Nemechek. He's full-time Cup Series now. He will not be coming down to the Xfinity Series for this race. Ryan Truex and Taylor Gray will be taking over those cars of the 19 and the 20. So I will go first. I am going to be going with Ryan Truex. I think this guy is really good. He's got a lot of talent. He's had a lot of bad luck in his career. We saw that, especially when he was in that 8 car for Junior Motorsports. He did not have a good time over there, but he won Dover last year, same weekend as his brother, which was pretty damn cool. And I think this guy just has it in him. He's in probably the best equipment that he's ever been in, and he's got a great opportunity ahead of him. Great teammates too. So I really do hope that Ryan Truex pulls it off and gets it done this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. Joe Gibbs Racing knows how to get it done here. That 20 car, we see it all the time, even when they're not. I always think back to that Harrison Burton win where he made a last lap pass coming out of 4, and it almost looked like the guy. I forget who he passed, but that's not the story. It almost looked like the guy in the lead pumped the brakes
Yeah,
coming out of the corner.
you
Like that
forgot
was
who he passed. Okay.
nuts. So what was that, Kyle?
That was Noah.
Oh, see, I
Yeah.
know. I honestly did not know. Again, it was
Yeah.
just I remember like seeing that. I was like, that's so weird. It just looked like he just hit his nitrous or something. But
Noah
like,
just like went up high into
mhm.
turn 4, and Harrison just went
Oh, he
right
just
around him and
missed
just
the
made it look
because
easy.
that's right. We'll blame the track for that one because Texas is one groove, and if you get
Yeah.
anywhere, you get this far out of it, you're done.
I thought
Uh,
you were fucking with me at first. He's like,
no,
yeah, he
no, no,
passed
no.
some guy. Like,
I honestly had no clue. Again, I just remember, and again, I almost didn't even remember it was Harrison Burton driving. I just remember the 20 car.
yeah.
Even when it's not going to win, it's going to win this race. So I think all that to say, I think it's a safe pick. Ryan Truex, again, we saw him do it at Dover in dominating fashion. There's no reason why he can't come to Texas and do the same thing. Um, for me, I think I need to go with the Joe Gibbs driver. And I'm looking at the list of Joe Gibbs drivers. I'm pretty sure he has the most experience of the 4 showing up at the track. And I got to go with the 18 car of Sheldon Creed. I know you guys picked him last week for Martinsville as a kind of redemption, get it done. He got so close. I mean, Sheldon Creed's right there, and honestly, it's about time for him to. We talked about this a little bit in the last episode, but it's time for him to start showing up, or these opportunities, the running for the RCRs and the running for the Joe Gibbs are going to go away. So time to win a couple races, and you can't win a couple races until you win your first one. And Joe Gibbs' pedigree at Texas is going to hopefully set him up well. And I think that 18 car can find victory lane.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Great pick. Good luck to Joe Gibbs this weekend. Hopefully they can keep up with the momentum. So, buddy, now let's go to Sunday for the Cup Series race. We got the Auto Trader 400 mile race, 267 laps. Stage 1 will be 80, stage 2 is 85 laps, and the final will be 102 laps. Last year's winner was William Byron, also last week's winner. Most team wins, Hendrick Motorsports with 7, and Chevrolet has a whopping 10 wins here at Texas Motor Speedway. So, buddy, bow ties are going to be very, very popular this weekend.
Bow ties, and really is it's going to be 2 teams. It's going to be Hendrick and Gibbs going at it and whatnot. So, but I agree. I mean, I guess we picked Chevys for the trucks, even though that Toyota's been dominant there with the trucks. We picked Toyotas for the Toyota dominated Xfinity series, and I think we again need to go with history here for Texas and go with Hendrick Chevys to figure out this weird track. Um, and so I'm going to go back to back squared Byron here. He back to back being he won this race last year, back to back being he won last week. Um, I just there's not much that's slowing this guy down. And I think the 24 could be in victory lane once again, shooting the six shooters.
Yeah, dude, totally agree. Best driver this era right now.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go.
Surprisingly, though, William Byron's fourth in points. He jumped 3 spots last week, but he's still trailing Larson, then Truex, then Denny. So, we say that he's unstoppable, yet he's not. It's not like he's running away with anything. He's not even in the lead. So,
Right.
uh,
All right. Well, I am gonna have to go with his Hendrick teammate of Kyle Larson, another driver, really good at Texas Motor Speedway. He's on top of the world right now. Um, and yeah, I think him and Byron are just the top drivers at Hendrick right now. I still think Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman, they still got some growing pains from last year with their injuries and the suspension and all that. They still got to find
hmm.
their winning stride in that next gen car. We haven't really seen that much out of Chase Elliott.
I
So,
think I don't know if this is a hot take,
mhm.
but I think Chase Elliott is back.
You think?
I think he's ready to go. I think he's honestly he could win this weekend. Just the way he ran at Martinsville. It's been a year since his return. Obviously, he was suspended in the middle of that return anyway, but
Hmm.
never take a moment to skip over that point.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I love saying
but
it.
he's sitting here sixth in points, so he's starting to get his consistency back, and that was the thing with Chase Elliott. When he won his championship, it was that consistency that killed everybody. He was averaging by the end of the season like top tens every
Yeah,
time and whatnot. So once he's running up to the front more and more week in week out, and I think he's back. I think he wins in the next 4 weeks. Um, but again, we just got to look out for the shot. I do think Bowman has a bigger issue than meets the eye and whatnot. I think it might be hot seat time for him, if not now, pretty soon. Um, that team, his teammates are shutting the lights out on
no, yeah,
everybody.
blowing them away
And
every week.
Bowman again. You wonder why Bowman doesn't finish fourth at Martinsville. What's wrong with Bowman that he missed the mark and finished eighth? And it's a top
Yeah,
10 in the Cup Series, and we'd be like, he should have been in the top five. Like it's not that he's getting bad results, but he's not quite meeting up with his teammates, and that's concerning.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, you just said you could see Chase Elliott getting a win here in the next 4 weeks. Dude, you're absolutely right because we're going to tracks that he's really, really good at. Talladega, he's gotten a win at. Dover, Kansas. Darlington, he's really, really good at too. So, dude, he like you said, he's picking up some heat here, and I
Yeah.
really do think this is his time.
Again, I
Put up
wouldn't
or
call it
shut up, dude.
a hot take. I mean, it's Chase Elliott after all. He's a Cup champion. He's the most popular driver. Like it's people are waiting for this to happen, and people want it to happen. But so it's maybe not a hot take, but I think that the page has turned for him and whatnot.
No,
Another driver I want to keep my eye on this weekend is Ty Gibbs. He's kind of slowed down from the hot start he got to this season,
I
but
would say Martinsville was really his only bad race.
right,
He's been running top five almost every
exactly,
week.
exactly. And like sometimes I think there was a penalty issue at Coda that didn't get him as good a finish as he could have.
Hmm.
Um, but again, Ty Gibbs is a pressure cooker about to explode, and it's just gonna take one. Um, and again, these Toyotas at these intermediate tracks, they're good. They're good to
Hmm.
go. And Ty Gibbs knows what he's doing. As much as we hate to say it, we're like, oh, he's just the money kid. He's granddaddy's little boy, but
Kid can
dude's got
fucking
talent.
drive.
We've said it. Yeah, we've said it every week on the show, I think. But I'll be watching Ty Gibbs from the stands, tracking all these guys and whatnot. And again, props to Ryan Blaney. I'm just looking at the points. Ryan Blaney won the All Star race here at Texas a couple years ago. Um, really, the only Ford even close to anywhere in points. He's sitting fifth in points. The next one's 13th is Chris Buescher. So Joey
Wow.
Logano's recovered well and 14th in points. He's back in the playoff hunt. But whatever they're doing down in the 12th camp, the other Fords got to figure out, because Ryan Blaney, another one that could potentially win this race, although I don't see a Ford going to victory lane here. They still haven't quite found something with the dark horse.
Yeah. Ford still needs to work on it. Yeah, and Truex, man, he's just kind of quietly just sitting
Truex
there
is
in
having a
second
Truex
place, man.
season. He's
Yeah.
having a Truex season. He doesn't set the world on fire. He just goes and gets results, and when he wins in dominant fashion.
Yep.
I guess he didn't dominate Richmond enough because he didn't deserve to win it. But yeah, Truex, again, it's scary, and you just hope with the season he's having that he doesn't implode come playoff times again like they did last season. But only time
Regular
will tell.
season
Only
champion,
time will
and
tell.
man, he was scratching and crawling. He was
Yeah.
almost the first and second round exit.
Yeah, regular season champion, playoff champion.
Yep. No kidding. All
Woof.
right, man. Well, I think that will be a
Yeah,
great spot to end our show. Dude, I hope you have a great time down in Oklahoma and
Mhm.
Texas. I hope they put on some good racing for you on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm only going to go see the Cup Series race. It's only going to work out timing wise for that one, but I think it'll be a good day. I'm honestly more excited about experiencing the race with new fans, with people who have never been to a race before, more than I'm excited to watch the actual race. I just think it'll be a good day with friends. And as you could tell from this episode and the last time, I love talking NASCAR and telling people about it that don't understand it.
Yeah.
I will fill you in. I love talking this sport. I love this sport. I think more people should love this sport.
Dude, it's always fun.
I'm excited
bringing
to share.
someone-
Yeah, for sure.
It's always fun bringing someone to their first race and just seeing like their eyes light up when the engines start like, yeah, you thought this shit was boring to begin with? No.
I think it's going to be a good time, and even if the racing isn't so great, I still think we'll enjoy ourselves. So,
and nothing beats the day at the racetrack, even if the product is absolutely terrible. It's about the memories you make at the track.
I mean, again, if anything, we'll have a few cold ones. We'll sit out in the sun, work on our tans, and enjoy time with our friends. So
there you go, buddy.
Yeah.
All
That's
right,
what racing's all about, right?
Dude, absolutely, man. It's all about good times. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning into the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to check out our Martinsville race review show from the past few days. Make sure to like and subscribe. And make sure to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and we got our merch link down below. So that'll do it for us. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
And we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy Texas. Have fun, Tom.
Yeehaw.